GRF edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television of Shobo, Osun State. It's been a week packed up, we've had event stories aimed at bringing you up to speed and up to date with information around us. And today we're not leaving it out. We are ready. And as long as you're ready, we are. And I am Okechukwu Uzoms Maria, and I'm not alone in the studio. I have Femi Ojo here with me. Good morning, Femi.
Good morning. How do you do?
How do you do?
Yeah, very well. Good to have you join us today. The lady in the white and the black. I think
it seemed like we're more like alike.
Well, it's Friday. One hour.
Right.
You can see the way I'm appearing.
Right.
You don't have to be too serious. But then we still have serious conversations in here. Femi Ojo is my name, and it gives me great pleasure to be here again, for this day's edition of Morning Spring. And of course, thank you for staying with us all week. As you know, we look at the papers and then we have conversation. And today's conversation is sometimes conversations as well. It's one that you don't want to miss at all because it's a robust, very robust one aimed at having lasting peace in our society, in our communities. Because a peaceful society is the one that is devoid of rancor. And not that there won't be rancor, but it's well managed so that there will be no unnecessary quarrel, heightened tension that will now lead to,
massacre.
Riots, unease, and all of these things. And, at the extreme war, we don't want that in our lands. But then, wherever you have that, the Israel-Hamas situation, at least as it appeared, just
few days ago,
there is a respite, and it was done on the table as well. So we have that conversation here today on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. So if you're ready, we have a very long way to go. So we keep it very sharp and concise. You're welcome. Good morning.
Our music is gaining popularity across the world, but we are losing our wildlife here at home. Pangolins are threatened by the illegal bushmeat trade. They are sold and consumed in our cities, and their scales are used for traditional medicines. Just as we have preserved our culture.
Consultants remain in Nigeria. We had this conversation yesterday. And today, we are hearing and we are seeing that only 6,000 medical consultants remain in Nigeria, and just one or two produced annually. 1,700 consultants approaching 60-year retirement age. This is disturbing.
Really?
You know why? 6,000 medical consultants remain in Nigeria of more than relatively around 180, 200 million, to cater for 180 or 200 million people. Now, 6,000 of them, consultants, right? Now, just one or two are produced manually. These consultants, so average of 2 consultants are the ones that's been produced annually in the whole of the country. Now, out of these 1 or 2, you might say at least 1 might travel out of the country in that year, remaining only 1. All right. And 1,700 consultants approaching now. Out of the 6,000 that we have, 1,700 of them, they are almost 60 by virtue of age, meaning they are hitting their retirement age. Physical power will be going down.
Of course.
And so they won't be able, they can't be as active as they were in their 40s or in their 30s. And your 50s, this is an issue. I think it's something that
barely 4,300
that you are not sure the number will be complete by next year, because only 2 will be added. Let's say 4,302. So out of these 4,302, with our own layman calculation, in the next 12 months, are you sure any of them will not still travel out?
I was going to say
any of them might die.
Are you even sure?
Any of them might
even
retire?
Before the end of this month, some persons might do, or 1 or 2 persons might leave.
We have
it's really disturbing that our health sector is derailing like this. Really need to work on it. Really need to do a lot.
When we are willing, we can do a lot.
Health is wealth. Yeah. Keep saying that.
Right. Timothy Adegoke, appeal court affirms Adedoyin's death sentence. For people that have been following this story years ago, the unfortunate incident that happened and had a postgraduate student, a master student of OAU, lodged at a hotel. He came in alive. He left the place dead, but that didn't come without controversy. And the owners and persons in the hotel were held accountable, and a death sentence was pronounced on the man and some persons, but then it was appealed, and appeal court yesterday, a pronouncement was given affirming that Adedoyin, his death sentence remains. Okay, I didn't know. Possibly the Supreme Court is last bet.
Yeah, the last.
Transcorp Power posts 115% pre-tax profit to pay full dividend of 37.5 billion naira. Transcorp Power posts 115% pre-tax audit profit to pay full dividend of 37.5 billion naira. And 77% of Nigerian women use skin lightening products. Federal government. Zoms Maria. You have a case to answer here on behalf of the Nigerian women.
Oh my goodness, I don't have a case to answer on behalf of the Nigerian women. I'm not. You are
dissociating yourself from this.
I'm not part of that.
It's okay, but do you agree?
Well,
skin lightening products.
Yes, I do agree because the, Nigerians,
it's
the ladies call it
actually
skin toning. They call it toning cream, and somehow
is toning the same thing as lightening? Is lightening the same thing as bleaching?
That's what they use to
they are just semantics.
I don't know if I said you use the word deceive themselves, because toning, when you use something that changes your skin tone,
make you lighter.
Of course, you're already changing it. Okay. So it's a lightening cream, and they tell you it's toning your. How can you be dark and all of a sudden you're turning light? How
about those that are fair and they want to be fairer?
Well,
because it's not always from the dark complexion or ebony chocolate looking persons like yourself who want to change. There are fair persons, moderately fair persons who want to be fairer.
I want to become Oyibo.
And people do a lot.
Well, it's left to them, but
it's dangerous.
Not good. Yeah,
it's dangerous.
Not good.
Some of those products are carcinogenic.
Yes, I know someone that was using this lightening cream, and she put to bed, and it was time. She wanted to put to bed, and she had to go through the CS section, and they couldn't. Issue. Yes. They said the whole skin was gone. Like the doctors couldn't find where to cut off. Yes, her skin. She had shed almost a lot of layers of the skin. So it was terrible.
And we should just be, how do I say it now? Be contented and be proud in your skin.
Of course.
Do only things that are medically accepted. All right, because everybody wants just to appear and they want to brighten the old room.
They want to be the light in the dark room.
That's not the light that we're expecting at the end of Nigeria's tunnel. That's not the kind of light. All right, and this is coming from the federal government. That 77% of Nigerian women use skin lightening products. Do you know it's even worse? That there are some men who do that as well.
Of course, I do.
Some men, and they appear like a fried bole.
You're on point.
You've seen it before.
You're on point.
All right, now. It is bad, actually. Now, how police rescued ex-AIG's wife from abductors. We learned yesterday that the wife of, Mr. Odumosu, former commissioner of police in Lagos, who retired as AIG, the wife was abducted somewhere in Ogun State, and she has been, rescued yesterday. and the abductors have been neutralized. So that's more like it.
That's a good one.
But the thing is, everybody must have that sense of urgency. Now, this is my point here. Everybody who has been abducted or has this issue, the same way these individuals, the same way the police rose to that occasion, or everybody, and less than 4 days or 5 days, the woman has been rescued. The same way the Nigeria police should deploy all the machinery.
Citizens.
I understand, because it is embarrassing for you to go and abduct the wife of a retired AIG. AIG is Assistant Inspector General of Police. So you didn't see anybody to carry. It is his wife, but then either it's his wife or his nephew or somebody that he doesn't know at all, or somebody from the inner part of somewhere, the hinterlands of somewhere very remote. The same energy should be put into that. But someone will say, how about we even preventing these abductions? Because for anybody that is abducted, you are not guaranteed your life. Those guys move mad. They drink a lot of things, they take a lot of things, and they can be very unreasonable. We've had people who have been abducted, and of course, ransom paid by their family, yet they don't release them. Yes, they kill them. Even while they have been dead, they are still demanding for more. We have seen situations in which people who carry the ransom, the money, to the abductors being kidnapped themselves. So that's double jeopardy. So if it's possible, we can do everything to prevent why these calls are being made and all of these things. There's intelligence, there is surveillance, there is drone. I know anything can still happen, but it shouldn't be incessant. Those criminals should know that this is a dangerous mission. And it's quite exciting. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that the abductors were shot and neutralized. But then someone will say, why don't we arrest them and seek for more information? But then I think the lesser of them that we have, the better it is for us. So that everybody that have that idea in their heads will dead it immediately. Of course. You cannot do this because the security architecture of Nigeria will fish you out. And I think that's the way it should be. Yeah,
that's the way it should be, because abducting people, I've had an experience.
It's traumatic.
It's terrible.
Traumatic. Both on the family members, the loved ones, and even the person that's being constantly, traumatized. And here, federal government directs WAEC, NECO, others to inscribe NIN, date of birth, photograph on certificates. That's a lot.
That's like WAEC, the current NYSC.
The one I had my passport, actually. Yes, the one I have, rather. Yeah. But now we are being told that it should have the person's date of birth,
but mine
the
has
photograph, and the NIN.
Yeah, NIN is not there, but I have my date of birth and my passport photograph from my wife.
Right, interesting. I don't want to say what's on my mind. Okay, now declares war on exam malpractices. Says all exams in Nigeria will be 100% CBT by 2027. Register Heads Committee on CBT Migration and elect 2.8.
Now, this one here says street foods becoming unaffordable for many citizens. Is this part of how we can solve food insecurity?
The thing is, what do you mean by street food?
Well, to me, I feel like they're talking about the roadside where people go to buy food they eat.
Exactly. And if they are saying it's becoming unaffordable, it means people are no longer having money to buy, or it is getting beyond the reach of what the people can afford. It speaks to the money in your pocket and the value of the money in your pocket.
I was trying to understand, because they said how Nigeria can solve food insecurity. I was thinking if that is also part of how Nigeria can solve it, or that is a problem.
This is just a rider. I mean, it's different angles to that topic.
Probably,
so it can never be a solution mechanism. So yeah, it's quite true, because you notice some persons, most of these people that do this buka stuff, they are complaining right now. They're always like, there's no. In fact, before, if you could get food of 500 naira, now it must be 1,000 and above. At least, yeah.
Must be 1,000.
Because imagine somebody buying 500 naira per, the way we call it, per mudu. That's a measure of rice here, or 700 naira. Like 2 years ago, all of a sudden it's around 2,008, 3,000 naira right now. So you don't expect that particular a scoop of possibly what she will sell 200 naira. then possibly she might be selling 400 naira at least. People that are running restaurants, it's a lot right now. Especially if you want the food to still be as rich as before, then that means you have to pay more than before.
We really need to work on this. How Nigeria can solve food insecurity. Yeah. I'm sure Nigerians will be eager and itchy for this particular story. So you want to get more of it. It's a multi-layer situation because the farms have to be safe. First of all, the farmers that will go to farm have to have enough food in their belly. And of course, the atmosphere, the climate change is an issue, but that should not be an issue in agriculture because this is 2025. In most parts of the world, nobody waits for seasonal farming. At all. They don't do that anymore.
Technology that is drones that are watering
the days
plants.
of our parents.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you have to wait for February for rain to come. Nobody's doing that.
No one is doing that.
Okay, because there are ways that we can use to mitigate that particular, it's a lot. Sure. If we are ready, we'll do it.
Yes, if we are ready, we will. So we have federal government spends 9 billion naira on Shiroro Mando Kaduna power line. Okay. Transcorp Power records 305.9 billion naira revenue in 2024. And we have NSCIA explains support for Quran Festival. And the writer there, Tinubu, others to attend events. And the top strip there this morning, we have Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger to launch common passport. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger to launch common passports. Court proscribes Lakurara sect, declares it terrorist organization. Hasn't it been a terrorist organization?
I was going to ask, what was it before?
I had to stop short because that is what we're talking about in this country. Like, there are things that we already know is happening, and somehow our government is petting it and, trying to.
But then, one thing I know is they are not a peaceful, they are not having peaceful assembly.
At all.
They didn't come in peace. They have never been known for peace. So this proscription, let's just see.
Well, let's just see. Okay. And the last story there this morning, we have former FCT minister Jeremiah Oseni dies at 81.
Wow.
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 Well, our condolences to the family and to all those, the loved ones around, and to, the nation at large. Being a public officer, I mean, it's also something to tell on the nation. And that will be all on the Daily Trust this morning.
All right, away from that, and lastly to The Guardian for today. The Guardian newspaper. Heroes of school sports and how Nigeria can leverage tertiary institutions' untapped talents. Heroes of school sports, how Nigeria can leverage tertiary institutions' untapped talent. And of course, you have guys in Nigeria colors there. Some of them that emerged through school sport. There used to be shell competition at some point, especially for footballers. There used to be principal scope. I know these competitions, and these has produced many stars. They catch them young things where they are then groomed, and then they graduate into age grade competitions. And for athletes, from their schools, even as far back as their secondary schools, now to the sport festival where they represent their state, either from Osun or from Kaduna or from Rivers. And, as a budding talent, they are recognized by institutions and clubs and associations, and they are groomed. But it seems we have skipped
we're now relaxing. All those things are no longer
existing.
You
are only recognized now or identified if you are flourishing in your major clubs. In Europe, in, some parts of the world, or possibly for the athletes, many of them, when they are shining, and they have gone through the rigors to find sponsors and all of these things. You have done well in all of these diamond leagues. And then that guy has a Nigerian name. They will go for you, identify you. Then when you do well, everybody is tagging along. We are farms in and all of this. But we need to do better because talents abound everywhere. When you talk about, as a roundup, when we talk about this long distance running, and marathon running and sprint and all of those things. I used to think, have you seen those guys that sell things on the highway?
Jeez.
The speed, the agility,
and
sometimes
and they're carrying a lot of things
on their head, on their hands. 500 meters, they are still following a car just because somebody wants to sell gala or a bottle of water. Now imagine those guys with the agility, with the strength that they have. Now, if they are being taken care of and groomed for sport, for the ones that are willing, by the way, we can, get a lot from it. You have many guys.
Did you ever do, this running? Yeah. Like, did you ever run in school, in secondary school?
I did.
You were a great runner.
I am a sport person.
Oh,
I was and I still am.
That's good, Once I did.
I was a gold medalist in long jump.
Wow. Yeah, I was very good in long jump, but
I did sprint as well.
Not 100 meters race.
Okay.
I did relay race, but not 100 meters because.
Did you finish the relay?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
No,
because some persons will start and then they'll gas out along the way. But it's a lot. You have some fine guys here who are doing well for themselves. Now, junta-led Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger to unveil common passport. Can you imagine? Those three countries who are pulled out of ECOWAS, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they want to have a joint passport. That means they are cooking something and they want to have their own sub-regional body in their
That's
own
how it starts.
way. And inflation, 13 million more Nigerians at risk of falling below poverty line 2025, says report. 13 million more Nigerians at risk of falling below poverty line 2025, says report. Over 20 killed as bandits. Boko Haram faction clash. Okay. We hope the 20 that are killed are within the criminals.
The criminals are, the terrorists. They should kill themselves.
In fact, that's more like it for us. But civilians should not be part of the casualty. By the way, it has happened before in which a faction of bandit or terrorist eliminated leader. Shekau was eliminated by a rival. And if that's the way they want to go about it, please go ahead.
It's a whole lot of easy work for us.
Yeah, when your enemies are named themselves one by one, the better it is for you. You just do the finishing and round off everybody.
And when the leader is gone,
that's all. Everyone is scattered.
Yeah.
Inflation, debt burden may hinder Nigeria's economic recovery. LCCI warns. LCCI is the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, federal government disburses 116.18 billion naira student loans, approves 4 billion naira for vulnerable households, and fuel tanker explosions, while federal government should mandate life insurance for victims. And Trump's tariffs, new trade barriers, unsettled world leaders agency. A lot is going on in America right now. And Ondo government diffuses tension as cows allegedly destroyed 265 million naira crops. Again, Ondo government diffuses tension as cows allegedly destroys 265 million naira crops. And I hope the position of the state government will be a very solid and firm one. And of course, because somebody can have a farm worth 265 million naira crops plant on it, and some cows will come and destroy it, and you tell the person to just, fold their hands and watch.
Oh, we're sorry.
Somebody must take responsibility, and definitely. It's good that the state government is on this matter, and they must be firm and return culpability to where it truly belongs. That will be all at this segment for now. Talking about the federal government disbursing money, I think it's a good one, because the student loan, but Nigerians are asking for more. Can it just be a grant so that these guys cannot be burdened? They might not have to pay back. But federal government will say it has to go around. So when you have access to loan facility for you to complete your education, when you pay back, others do. We have access to that same loan and all of these things. But as we run something quickly, I saw a release yesterday, and it's a video. I'm just hoping it is not true. But if it is true, we are waiting for how it will work, in which the minister of a particular minister had to say that, henceforth, graduates will be having access to some allowance, in as much they are not yet employed. But, I want to be sure of the source of the information, because a lot is going on social media right now.
Yeah, a lot.
People are using AI to conjure many things. So you cannot be sure until you've seen the source of that particular information. So you seen a video and somebody muttering something doesn't mean
it's true. Yeah,
guys are doing a lot with artificial intelligence. But then if it is true, we wait for how the data. It will be a good thing.
It will be a good thing.
But then what data will be used? You know,
I was going to ask that because,
but that will be a conversation for another day. Nigeria is good. Nigeria is beautiful. Is a blessed land.
Yeah.
And we are blessed people.
We are blessed.
We just have to make it work. Leaders, followers, everybody. We take this quick break. When we return, we'll be speaking to matters arising. Stay with us.